Dean, members of the faculty, High Commissioner, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, students, namaste. For me, this visit at the London Business School is very, very special. Just when we were leaving to come here, after a series of meetings since early morning, I just mentioned to my colleagues that London Business School has played a very important role in shaping my own life. And I'd like to begin by expressing a debt of gratitude to this school for something that I think is unknown to all of you. You had a professor, Dr. Sumant Shah. He passed away in 2004 at an early age. He was only 55. Truly an illustrious son of India. One of the finest human beings I have come across in my life. I think he was here for about a decade, much before any of you must have joined, but maybe some faculty here who may remember him. Just to give you a little background about him, he used to work in India in a public sector undertaking. And for those of you who have come from India, you know how we deride our public sector undertakings or government companies. How we look down upon the people who work there as non-performers, who believe that they don't have the ability to steer the country to greater heights. There is a general perception, at least amongst all those who didn't get a job in that PSU. And after 13 years in that company, he got a Fulbright scholarship, went to MIT, did his master's, did his PhD, and did an MBA at Harvard Business School, almost simultaneously. After that, he must have taught at other schools around the place, but joined you in '94, if I remember correctly. And I met him for the first time on 28th of December 1999. We spent 7 days together on a train journey in India, from Delhi to several locations in Rajasthan, then to Gujarat, and back to Delhi. You know, you might have heard of the Palace on Wheels, the 7-day tour. A professor in the Harvard Business School who has also co-authored a book with Sumantra, Dr. Nitin Noria, former dean of Harvard Business School. He had booked the entire train, brought professors from across the world, every top university. There was Harvard, there was MIT, there was Stanford, there was Yale, Princeton, INSEAD, London Business School, professors from all across the world. And we were just 2 or 3 families who were not in the teaching profession. My wife, me, and 2 very, very small kids. It was a game-changing journey for me. But where Sumantra fits in, and why I say he, in a way, defined my career. He used to smoke a lot, if it all did, you remember it. That did him in also ultimately. So every few minutes, we had to go to the door of the train, open it, and you've seen trains in India, so at least the Indian students have. So we would stand at the two sides of the door, we were smoking away, and getting to learn about me, and as professors are inquisitive, getting to know more and more about me. I was in the investment banking profession at that time, having run industry earlier for nearly 15, 16 years. I had started very young when I was doing my BCom. And was trying to understand me. At the end of the day, when I told him about my plans of different kind of thoughts, he made a comment which in some sense steered me. I was always interested in politics, almost literally since childhood. But that steered me to spend and focus more energies on public life. The comment he made after getting to know me a little better, one of those moments when he was smoking away and I was standing with him at the door, taking in the fresh air. December air is beautiful in Rajasthan and Gujarat. He said, Piyush, even if you earn 500 crore rupees, and that's a lot of money in India, indeed. And the context of 500 crore was also a specific transaction. One of our earliest tech startups, Netcore. If you Google, you'll find more about it. Rajesh Jain had started Netcore. It was in the business of bulk SMSs. Had got sold to another company for 500 crore rupees. And that was the talk of the nation. And Professor Noria, Sumanta and I used to be arguing whether Rajesh undersold his company or he got a very good deal. So that was the context of the 500 crores. And in that context he said, even if you earn 500 crores, you'll never be happy. My pet name is Happy. He said, politics is your calling in life. Get into public life. And I think that left an indelible mark in my mind about my own self. And I think I never looked back after that, started spending more time in my party, where I already was active for about 16 years before that. But then very peripherally, first running industry, then doing investment banking. For those of us from India, we have a phrase in India we use very often, time pass. That was like time pass. Whenever you have free time, doing some party program, or if some senior leader is coming or you have a public engagement, you get busy. And therefore I'm particularly delighted that this is my first visit to the London Business School, which I should have actually come much earlier. But thank you so much, Dean, thank you so much, my friends, for having given me this opportunity. It's truly for me like a little bit like a pilgrimage. Of course, I've always wanted to be in one of the classrooms like this. Thank you. So for context, after I did CA and law, only I did law 6 months before CA. So I was running my factory, going to Government Law College in Mumbai. I was second in Mumbai University. There's no national ranking in law. That's when you don't go back to the wrong impression. And I think that was clearly written that in my bio, whenever you got that wrong. And I did my CA. And soon after my chartered accountancy, I wanted to continue studying. And got admission at the Wharton Business School. for a PhD in strategy, the very subject Sumatra used to teach. But unfortunately for me, I had labor trouble in my factory that year and chose that I should first set things right. My father had retired, he had put all his life savings into helping me to start that factory. Our idea was that my brother comes back from the US after his studies. And I decided to take a deferment by a year. I still remember the great difficulty getting a landline through to Professor Harbir Singh, who had given me admission. And I said, I'm going to take a deferment by a year. He tells me, look, I had to really struggle to get you admission because you didn't have we couldn't see or understand what you've done. You claimed work experience of almost 5 years or 6 years, but you were at the same time a student of law, at the same time a student of doing chartered accountancy. But I told the admissions committee, this is typically India. And I believed that what you said was right. And of course he knew that if I could get these kind of marks, I must not be fibbing in the resume. And after struggling to get you admission straight into a PhD, without a formal master's degree, because LLB is not a master's degree, and without formal work experience, now you say you're taking a deferment and I know you'll never come back. No student who defers comes. I said, no, I'm positively coming. I really want to be there. Sadly, one thing led to the other. Then I did well and I thought of expansion. I overcame the problems, thought I should expand, and never went. Then I went to Harvard Business School to do an essay program, the OPM. In May 2013, did the first module. Before I could get back in 2014, I became a minister. So that remained incomplete. But finally, I lived my dreams to both my kids, one of whom went to Harvard Business School and one of whom went to Wharton. Just to tell you, life is great. Whatever work you are doing, whatever opportunities you get, whatever you are studying, have faith, have trust, because you will get onto the right path. At times you may feel that this is not what you want to do, or you've not got enough, you wanted something else, you want more. I can tell you that as we move along, we'll face a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, difficulties, some joyous moments. Somebody will luck out, be very, very fortunate to be successful very early in life. A youngster could become a billionaire, having a startup at the age of 18 and now looking at listing in Indian stock markets at about $5-6 billion. I don't know if you figured out whom I'm talking about. A lot of possibilities in life. And somebody may have to struggle. But I think the fact that you are here at the London Business School, the fact that you are bringing a little bit of India with you to London, the fact that you are the privileged few who have been able to come here. There are millions out there who would love to be in your place, is good enough reason for you to really put in your best, get the best out of this college, out of this school. You give it your best, and I think collectively we can all do wonders, not only for your own country, but for the world. You may, I believe you have a very active India club also. But don't remain confined to the India club. Explore new relationships. Get to know every student in your batch. In my short 30-day OPM, I knew everybody in the 2 divisions that were parallelly running. And that's the beauty of business school. At least that's what I learned from my son. There's less work and possibly more play. I don't know the culture here. Because every time we called, they were only either planning a visit to some place, or already there, or having the blues of having to come back because they would have to start planning again. But friends, one big lesson that I learned, and for that I think the world will ever be grateful to London Business School, is the lecture also that Professor Goyal gave at the World Economic Forum. It's legendary. I'm sure they will teach you in your program also. The smell of the place. The atmosphere that is created in any organization, be it in politics, be it in a school, be it in any business organization, the kind of workplace environment, the kind of engagement between different stakeholders, the faculty, students, management, workers, whether there's an atmosphere of trust, whether there's an atmosphere of confidence in each other, is it friendly, is it confrontational, all of these define success, will define the future of that organization. And that gets the best out of every person if the atmosphere is good. If there's a feeling of distrust or there's some suspicion about each other, if there's fear in any student, oh my God, I'm not going to get a rank, I'm not going to become a scholar or whatever the scholarship, or not become a topper or get good grades, that fear kills you. It's the worst thing that you can have. You can never have a good atmosphere with this kind of a negativity around the place. But if you have trust, you have empowerment, you have a sense of belonging to the place, you feel wanted, then you will excel. Then it gets the best out of each one of you. And then one can hope to get extraordinary outcomes. And therefore, friends, if I take this analogy to the India story of the last decade, and we've been in government now 12 years, what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tried to do is exactly that, create that atmosphere where every citizen in the country feels empowered, where there's no want of the basic needs of life. No. Food, clothing, shelter, health, education, good infrastructure, digital infrastructure in today's day and age, power, water. Those were things which, frankly, maybe most of you coming from cities or families who did not have to go through these difficulties may not realize there are millions and millions who until a few years ago did not have electricity in their home, who did not have water from a tap in their home, who were living in thatched huts in the villages. Sadly, 120 million homes didn't even have a toilet. I don't feel very happy saying this to an audience which has friends from other countries or Britishers in the room. But I'm taking this opportunity to remind you that 12 years of empowering citizens, making sure every home gets electricity, every home gets a cooking gas connection, making sure that there's a toilet in every home across the length and width, making sure you have 5G connectivity in the remotest parts of India, building the best of highways, the best of ports, the best of airports. I dare say our ports are a far cry better than most other airports in the world. It's been a journey of transformation over the last few years. But along with this development activities, along with making the macroeconomic fundamentals of the economy really strong, it's the philosophy of the government that one needs to understand and appreciate. The change in mindset, the change in thinking, and that, friends, has often rested on trust. Today the government trusts the people of India, just like the people trust this government. After all, Prime Minister Modi has been elected thrice as Prime Minister. Before that, for about 13 years, he was Chief Minister of Gujarat. 25 years continuously in office as the head of the government in a state or the center. Just a few days ago, he completed the longest tenure that a duly elected Prime Minister has had continuously since independence. That's because the people trust him to deliver. And he, on his part, has focused on ease of doing business, ease of living, improving the quality of life of every citizen, working with the spirit of trust in the people of India. If I remember, one of the first decisions we took in the cabinet in 2014 was to remove the requirement of a notary signature on a photocopy or a Xerox document. You are quite young. If you ask your parents, every birth certificate, every document, every bank account, every passport copy, anything you had to submit anywhere, you had to locate a notary public, go, if he is available, not available, wait times, pay him money, get his signature, he would look at the original, sign the document, put a seal on it, charge you money for it, and billions of documents would go through this process. It may sound so simple, so small, that he removed the requirement of notarizing a document and said we'll accept self-certification. Sounds so elementary, doesn't it now? Ask somebody like me, when I applied for admission at business school, how I had to get certificates of every mark sheet. Because that's the way we were used to working all these years. In fact, we've come out with two versions of an Act of Parliament, Jan Vishwas number 1 and 2, two times. Jan Vishwas Deen is trust in the people. Jan is people, Vishwas is trust. And friends, the whole premise on which Jan Vishwas bills have been introduced, and the purpose of these two bills was to decriminalize several small misdemeanors that any business, small business or common citizen could do, probably without any misfeasance or without any mentia, is a legal word, but let's say without any intention to cheat or intention to do wrong. It may be just some small mistake and could be easily condoned, could be easily taken care of by a small penalty, but which required citizens to go to the court, appear before court, There's a very famous dialogue of a movie, Tariq pe Tariq. In our courts, you keep getting date upon date, adjournment upon adjournment. Our effort is just get government out of the life of businesses and out of the life of people of India. Let them flourish, let them work, because we have the confidence that the DNA of every Indian, the basic mindset, the basic approach, the basic thinking is honest. Now, the dishonest also need to be punished if they are doing it out of a well thought through or curated strategy. They have to be punished, and at times we've been very strong in that punishment. Sometimes people complain also about that. But we believe that that deterrence is also equally important. If we have to be recognized the world over as a country which is free of corruption and honest and gives equal opportunity to everybody. And friends, this commitment that we have taken, our nation first, all of us collectively, 1.4 billion Indians, have decided that we are going to make India a developed nation, a prosperous nation, by 2047 when we celebrate 100 years of independence. It's not the mission of one individual or one set of people in government. It's the collective resolve of every Indian, and everybody is contributing towards it. Every Indian is working towards that goal. And there's an old saying in an Indian scripture which says in Sanskrit, Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati, which translates, as is your intent, so becomes your reality. You know, there's that famous Shah Rukh Khan dialogue, which movie was it? Om Shanti? You know, we have a very famous actor, Shah Rukh Khan. We should invite him on time. He'll be a super hit. You'll need a larger location. He has trap and bowling. In which he says that if you really desire something from all your heart and all the power in your command, then even the universe conspires to make that happen. And friends, therefore, outcomes are not accidents. Outcomes are out of our intent. As students, you're going to get a lot of knowledge in this fabulous place. As graduates who come out of business school, you will learn about clarity, about conviction, about principles, about discipline. You learn about better business practices, business ways of working, ways of doing your job more effectively, more productively, more efficiently. But that's exactly what we've done in government. I'll just share with you the thinking we have brought to the government and conclude my comments. Because the way of working of Prime Minister Modi and this government is actually worthy of becoming a case study for business school. Because every conceivable management principle that I experienced or learned during my business years, or what you are taught in business school, in some form or the other, we are trying to bring to the governance of the country. And that has brought transformation at scale to India. After all, we are not the fastest growing large economy. Without a clear roadmap set before the nation, without a sense of purpose to achieve that, in a otherwise very uncertain world full of volatility, uncertainty, We have not been able to remain an oasis of growth and progress without a clear direction. And that direction has been based on, I've listed out 10 management principles, but there could be more. But I thought some food for thought to leave with all of you. First and foremost is decisive leadership. If you can't provide decisive leadership, you can't lead an organization, you can't lead a country, you can't lead towards success. I mean, we had a principle, we had a commitment to our constituency, to our supporters, that we will integrate Kashmir with India. Kashmir, which was otherwise ruled by a different set of laws, it did not believe that it was a part of India in many ways. So our whole party, the party which I belong to, the Bharatiya Janata Party, and our predecessor, the Bharatiya Janata, was founded on the fight to integrate Kashmir with India. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, our founder, was the first industry minister of India, and I'm kind of proud that I've got the shoes that Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee had once worn as Commerce and Industry Minister now. He gave up his ministership, he left government, and in protest went to Kashmir without a permit, entry permit. Was arrested and died in jail within a few days. We don't know how and why, what happened. But that is how my party was formed. And that was something which was very important for us. And a decisive leader achieves that. And we were able to remove those draconian laws or parts of the constitution so that Kashmir becomes a part of India. And that's what decisive leadership is all about. You have to achieve what you set out to do. Whenever we face terrorism, we always give it back. Now, this is not a country which will just protest at the United Nations if there is a terror attack from a neighboring country or a deliberate attack on our unity and integrity. We give it right back, but measured, proportional, whether it is our airstrikes or our surgical strikes or the recent Operation Sindoor. India today works with full confidence in our ability to protect and take care of the security and well-being of all our people. A decisive leader takes bold transformational decisions, whether in the economy, we brought in the IBC, GST, which was something for years we had been looking to happen. If you decide to get things done, we've got to get things done. Second, whatever we do a root cause analysis of the problem before we embark on solutions. When I became minister in 2014, I had power, renewable energy and coal, 3 portfolios. First night as a minister, I slept without power at home. In Delhi. Because a few days before that, the entire northern grid had collapsed. Because of some thunderstorms and consequential voltage frequency disruption and all that. The whole situation was so bad that at 2:33 in the night, my wife wakes me up and says, "What the hell are you doing sleeping? It's your responsibility now as power minister. Go and sort it." But then we recognized one of the reasons was that we had regional grids, like to most countries. We had a northern grid, a southern grid, and western. And that had many, many more problems. I won't get into all of that. It's not a class on power sector. But then we decided we should have a national grid, which can take care of this kind of disruption. So doing a root cause analysis always gives you the right answer. And then consequential advantages. After it became a national grid, power cost in southern India really fell. There was always a shortage in south and a surplus in the north. We could socialize power availability and bring down costs significantly. And lo and behold, in 2026, it's one of our biggest strengths. We are the ideal place to set up data centers today in India because our grid is more than 500 gigawatt. It'll become 1,000 gigawatt by 2032. One of the world's largest grids, single grid. And perfect for a data center. You can have 3 levels, 4 levels of redundancy. And consequently, look at the opportunities that open up, the jobs that open up, the demand for renewable energy that will open up, and our foray into new technologies that we can get into fast. Third, every action has to be outcome oriented. The free trade agreements, we decided in 2021, we are going to get into free trade agreements with the developed world. We're not going to do it with countries with whom we compete. We'll do it with countries who are far bigger in terms of per capita income, far richer, let's say, than India. Because we want to be there. We aspire to be there. We aspire to have higher per capita incomes. We aspire for better life for our children. So let's engage in that work. And no country in the world has become a developed nation by closing their doors. You open your doors to wider engagement. After why are you all here in UK? To open your mind to the world's thinking. Similarly, we decided we've got to do free trade agreements with the world and the developed world. And in less than 3.5 years, we finalized 9 free trade agreements with 38 developed countries. They complement each other. What UK can offer to India, maybe I need there. What I can offer to UK, they need here. Very powerful foundation for the growth story of India in the future. 2/3 of the global economy today, we have preferential trading access. You decide to do something, you have to have outcomes. Fourth, the rule of law and transparency. We all believe in the rule of law. But sadly, before we came in, we used to have scandals of the nature of coal gate scandal where coal blocks were given out to friends and family, or the telecom licenses which were issued without process. We've changed all of that. Equal opportunity, transparent processes, auction in most cases, whether it's telecom, whether it's coal, whether it's any natural resource or any asset of the government is given out only by an equal opportunity transparent mechanism. Fifth, time-bound execution. There was a day and time in India, delays of projects were like legendary. It wouldn't even bother us if a project is a few years late. It was considered normal. Now, if anything is out of sync, anything is going out of track, you'll have people right up to the Prime Minister on your back. Not acceptable. And every Wednesday, and 2 days back, I was in a meeting and my Commerce Secretary tells me, sir, I have to leave now. The Prime Minister's Pragati program is going to start. Was that every Wednesday, he picks up projects of national importance from all over the country. His office picks up. And we all feed into that. Anything which is facing difficulties, interministerial problems, problem with the state, anything which is delaying projects. And the best part is, put any project into Pragati, all problems get resolved before the video conference starts. By video conference, all states, all ministries are connected. 90% of the issues are flagged off and said, sir, this has been resolved. Prime Minister is on the block himself, making sure that things move. And therefore, time-bound execution becomes extremely important for success. And I'm sure your business school will be also teaching you somewhat similar principles. Sixth, prioritization of issues. I remember when I became railway minister, one of the first things that caught my attention, we still had unmanned level crossings. You must have seen them if you went by train anywhere. And accidents galore, people die. It's unmanned, somebody's trying to cross and a train coming from far or in the night. And end of story. We took up that task on mission mode. And what was considered impossible, my own railway board refused when I said that this is an order. They said it's not possible to do. And then there was another accident at an unmanned level crossing. And then I gave an absolute ultimatum. This is the time limit, not a single unmanned crossing after this date. And the Indian bureaucracy is trained by the British systems. We inherited them from India. And they did it. We had no unmanned level crossings. I think in 18 months or something, the entire country, no unmanned level crossings. We decided to do electrification of the railways in mission mode. We used to do 6,000 kilometers of electrification a year. We are now more than 99% electric. Small contribution towards sustainability also. And a huge saving in forex. Because crude oil, diesel, we don't need that anymore. So multifarious benefits from every single decision that you take. Of course, accountability and monitoring is something we learn in business all the time. And we do hold our officers accountable. We monitor the work very, very sharply. Sometimes to the point of irritation to officers, just as we are monitored by our boss. So it's a whole process. Most monitoring is now through technology, dashboards and systems where on our smartphone we have full knowledge of what's happening on each subject with pings or alerts on whenever there's any slippage. Following up on that, the next point, we've adopted technology in a big way. And we are not afraid of technology. So when the AI story came in or when we talk about quantum computing or any new technology, India is not fighting shy. We are not thinking that this is leading to job losses. We are embracing new technologies because we believe that it's only going to add to opportunities for our people. And we want to be at the forefront of these new cutting-edge technologies. Ninth is innovative financing models. There's so many ways we can do the same project smarter. So instead of just giving out huge amount of loans to people, you just give a loan, you just do a credit enhancement maybe, and give a credit comfort to the bank. And you can see that the banking system can come to speed and help the people in their journey towards prosperity. I tell you, a small program like giving 10,000 rupees, just to set context, that's 80 pounds. 80 pounds to a street hawker can transform that street hawker's life. Because very often, he has to borrow that money from a local moneylender who may be charging him 3 or 4% a month. If you talk to your parents, they confirm this. Many of you have been pretty much insulated from these harsh realities on the ground. And when we came out with a scheme called Swanidhi, where we said, you take 10,000 rupees, get some additional things for your card, or get a better card. But only condition was go digital. Have a QR code or take UPI payments. Today, 7 million people in the hawking zones around the cities are empowered. After they paid back the 80 pounds, we gave them 400 pounds. After they paid back 400 pounds, we gave them 800 pounds. After they paid that back, we moved them to the next scheme, which is Mudra Yojana. In Mudra Yojana, they can get up to 20 lakh rupees, which would again translate to about, 15,000, 17,000 pounds. So the idea is that, and all of this was government guaranteed. So banks could liberally give as a loan. to help the small entrepreneurs to move up in life. Innovative way, rather than doing a loan mailer where the money is given out and you know that it's never going to come back. And what did we achieve simultaneously? We started digitizing our economy. That's why half the digital transactions of the world today happen in India. 49% to be more precise. Otherwise somebody will fact check me. That's the kind of holistic thinking that I'm sure the London Business School will prepare all of you for. And last but not the least is our engagement with stakeholders. Everything is on a partnership model. We talk to people, we talk to businesses before we take decisions so that we can do the best for them. And that's our governance model. India has grown over the last decade. India aspires to be a $30 trillion economy by 2047 when we celebrate 100 years of independence, from 4 trillion to 13 trillion. Just imagine the opportunity that India provides. It's the single largest growth momentum that history has ever provided to the world. Which is why, friends, we are today the trusted partner of the world. We are today invited by the world to expand trade and business, engagement in defense and technology and critical minerals partnerships, which is why today Modi is the undisputed, most loved global leader. I'm not only saying it, President Trump and Ms. Meloni both seem to be saying it. One last thought, friends, before I leave. It's a bad habit. Don't ever call politicians to the podium. Very difficult for them to leave and attend the audience. Friends, management at its core is not just about spreadsheets. It's not just numbers. It's just not textbooks. It's about people and purpose. Numbers matter, but the why behind those numbers matters even more. As each one of you goes on to lead institutions, businesses, organizations around the world, please carry this conviction with you. The boldest strategies will be around the people with you. How you treat them, how you work with them, how you build them, how you take them along in your journey, and how business or whatever work or whatever will be your chosen profession is not just about profits, but purpose. And the purpose is defined by the lives that you impact. The number of people who will remember you in their journey, that there was a time when you came across a Sumant Ghoshal who helped you define your purpose in life. Thank you very much. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Minister, for that thought leadership. I hope the words conspire this time to bring Shah Rukh Khan at London Business School this time. You have come to the heart of the afternoon, moderated Fireside conversation.
He also recently gave a major gift to the endowment of LBS, and we are going to rename one of the buildings on campus into Anjali and Raj Rao building in recognition of the gift this amazing couple, Indian ones, gave to the school. So for us, India is one of the most important partners. So coming back to your remarks, since you're a Minister of Commerce and Industry, and you talked already about the trade negotiations, trade deals India has concluded recently with with the developed world, be it the UK, be it Australia, EU, UAE. So how does that going to transform not just the place of India in the world, but also create new jobs in industry in India, create an opportunity for young people?
Dean, all these engagements are very comprehensive in nature. They also cover education, incidentally, in most cases. Our effort is that as India engages with these developed countries, we will learn from them the best of products, best of quality standards, service standards, and we believe that living inside a closed room has not been very great for India. We will be far better off as we engage with the rest of the world, as we learn from their best practices. This of course opens up the doors for preferential access for Indian goods and services to 2/3 of the global economy, and therefore that many more jobs in the country, that much more demand for Indian produced goods, and at the same time all these countries have a lot to offer to India also. So already 8 or 10 or 12 universities from UK are looking to set up campuses in India. Many are looking to do dual degrees. Personally, I've been telling my counterparts from different countries that I see great merit in children from Europe and children from the United States coming and spending maybe a year, maybe 6 months in India as a part of their formal curriculum. So a 2-year MBA, 1 year done in India, 1 year here, will hold you in good stead because the future growth is going to come out of countries in Asia, Africa, Latin America. And learning the culture, learning how to deal with them will really help you at this stage of your life. So the Western students also will benefit greatly if they come and spend some time in India. Just like our students, I'm sure, benefit immensely from being at prestigious institutions like this.
Thank you, Minister. And indeed, we do work on the partnership with the Indian School of Business to benefit both sides. In the spirit of the comment you made about in the economic management principles, that decisions should be judged by outcomes, and you did outline the overarching goal for 2047. In a shorter term, now we signed the UK trade agreement, which is going to double the trade volume in 5 years. What is the success? What does the good look like, say, in 5 years in terms of impact of this trade agreement of UK-India on the economy and on the lives of ordinary Indians?
I think
by 2030, not by 2047.
it will be very difficult to isolate the impact of the UK agreement, as much as the fact that collectively all these new trading agreements coming into force one after the other. 15 July, UK comes into force, Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, and Liechtenstein came into force last year, 1st October. Oman came into force 1st June. We'll soon have New Zealand come into force, then we'll have the EU come into force. Somewhere in between, if the US is able to set things in order, we'll have the US come into force. All of these collectively, I think will open up a plethora of opportunity for both sides. And we will gain as much. So if we get technology, we get technology goods, we get semiconductor machinery, we get GPUs, or we just signed up with ASML. The first plant outside Netherlands that ASML is going to set up for those lithography machines without no semiconductor is going to be India with the Tatas, who also owns Chorus and Jaguar. So India is looking at a multi-phase engagement with each of our trading partners, which will help upskill our people at home. We are looking at huge skill development and training programs to align them with global standards and global requirements, In my own constituency, for example, I run a skills center, which is teaching, amongst other things, the Japanese language. Japan tells us they want 300,000 Indians to come and work there in different works. Caregivers, nurses, masons, electricians, plumbers. The UAE alone, we had about 1.8 million Indians in UAE until about 15 years ago. We have 4.5 million. The demand for Indian, I was with a very large ship owner yesterday, and he tells me that his largest cohort of people who work for him are Indians, and he would love to have many more. And now has got 2 training centers in India. He wants to set up one more, which we were discussing, which will train people for the cruises that he's expanding. He already has and is planning to expand massively. He wants the Indian hospitality talent. He says they're best. So we have a lot to offer the world. And I think these engagements will open the doors for two-way engagement. And clearly our effort is to continue to be the fastest growing large economy. Our effort is to grow the incomes of our people, both inclusive growth and sustainable growth is our mantra. And I think the people of India really are aligned to this objective as well.
Thank you very much. Since we are running out of time, I would like to ask one last question. Going back to your story with Professor Goyal, who gave you a piece of advice. And I should tell you to students around this room, since after Professor Goyal's premature death, this school established an annual research conference and strategy, Goyal Conference, in his name, and every year scholars from around the world come here to discuss research in strategy, remembering Professor Goyal's contribution, as well as his ideas, smell of the place that you mentioned. So we remember Sumatra very fondly. And this is what brings me back to your story. What is the advice you would give to students in this room about choosing the careers? You already talked about this in your inspiring remarks, but in one or two sentences that students can take away from today, attention spans are now very limited in front of the room. So I'm sure that people have taken copious notes, but in a couple of sentences, what would you advise the students?
I won't even need 2 sentences. How many of you have seen 3 Idiots? Most Indians for that. Those who haven't, the foreigners or the persons from here, please ask one of your colleagues to put up a show of 3 Idiots with subtitles.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the answer to this question. Just follow your dreams.
Thank you very much, Minister. I'm going to run around about this and give you back
I think we're short of time, so we'll skip that. We have a closing remark from Dr. Shri from UK. I would like to invite Shri to speak.
Thank you, Piyush ji. That was, we normally used to have not such good-looking ministers, but we also now have that is one of the things that you forgot to mention about Narendra Modi. So I have to make it fast. There was a video about the UK ICC, which is the UK-India Creative Circle, sir, formed after the Free Trade Agreement. So I just want to say thank you, sir, Your Excellency, the High Commissioner of India, the distinguished Dean Sergey, and distinguished guests. I've been living here for 45 years, but I still find the English language wonderfully confusing. We call the deafening silence, we say bittersweet. And then they say your Indian food is awfully good. And then they say, look, your Indian bowlers are clearly confusing when they bowl our googlies. We talk about the living dead, the sweet sorrow, the open secret. And then you must have given a number of the FTAs as original copies. So I don't understand why they've asked me to give the closing remarks today, because we are talking about opening. You have been instrumental in opening opportunities for business. You have been instrumental with, I have to give equal credit to our Secretary of State, Mr. Kyle, and before that, Johnny Reynolds, for opening investment, prosperity, and nowhere is it more exciting than in the creative industry which I am involved in. The UK ICC is a not-for-profit body. We are singularly focused to turbocharge the creative industries for both countries. For the UK, it brings in 150 billion, employing 2.5 million. And I understand for India, it's $40 billion, employing 40 million people. So the UK's creative economy is already one of its fastest growing sectors, consistently outpacing the wider economy. The UK-India Free Trade Agreement gives us the opportunity to accelerate that growth even further, creating jobs, investment, innovation in both countries. UKICC sees ourselves as a bridge between policy and practice. Governments can create the framework, but organizations like ours make the partnerships happen at the ground level. We are determined to work with business of every size, from emerging designers to global brands, to turn opportunities created by the FTA into real commercial success. Because the future relationship between the UK and India will not be built by trade agreements alone. It'll be built by ideas, by talent, by storytelling, by innovation, and by creative enterprise. Although we are a young organization, we've already begun building those bridges. We celebrated Diwali last year in November at the RAC, the Royal Automobile Club, with the legendary Manish Malhotra. For the first time, we opened doors for Manish Malhotra at the Selfridges. Our event at Christie's in March brought in business leaders from the world of fashion, retail, and investment, and we participated in the Lakme Fashion Week in Mumbai. We had an event at South by Southwest, organized by the Department for Business and Trade earlier in the month. And we are planning an event at Christie's shortly to celebrate the remarkable collection of the Shiv Nada Foundation. So we hope to bring British architects, designers, musicians, and artists to India to build lasting commercial partnerships. These are not simply cultural exchanges, these are trade delegations and events powered by creativity. So now, as a proper Indian, we never leave a podium without a proper ask. So Minister Goyal, may I ask you, please, to make a constructive request. We would welcome a formal participation between the Government of India and the UK ICC to help unlock the next phase of UK-India creative trade. In particular, we would greatly value the nomination of a senior civil servant from your department to work alongside us. We already have, from the UK side, 2 senior civil servants. One, we have Rupert Daniels here from the Department for Business and Trade. He is going to watch 3 Idiots also, I'm sure. You did mention that to him. And we also have His Majesty's Trade Commissioner in Mumbai as the Deputy Commissioner, Harjinder Kang. They are both on our advisory board. And I know your passion for this industry and would urge you to support us. We can do wonders with your guidance and help. Imagine if the creative sector grows 5 times like the UK, the Indian economy for the creative sector would be growing at probably 35%. And for a businessman like that, that's a good ask. So thank you, sir. Together we can help business navigate opportunities, organize trade missions, showcases, connect entrepreneurs and investors and retailers. We stand here today to open doors, to open new markets, new partnerships and new possibilities. Thank you for your leadership. आज जो है हम शुरुआत कर रहे हैं, समापन नहीं कर रहे हैं. So I would be very grateful to you, sir, for being part of UKICC, and I would be very happy to meet the Excellency, the High Commissioner, to take this further. So thank you all. I think I've tried to make the speech as short as possible. I tend to be a politician when I get the podium, but thank you, sir.